So in this one, what I'm going to do is really mark out the outline for the windows and the doors for the front elevation. So let's get started. So to begin, I'm going to switch off the visibility of the first floor plan and press 7 for top view. What I want to do really is just make a copy of the outer section here, the walls and the windows. So with those selected, I'm going to press Shift D to make a copy and just right click. And I'm going to move these to the ground floor layer up here. So if I just move the selected objects, I'm going to switch off the visibility of the ground floor. And I'm also going to combine these. So with them selected, I'm going to press Ctrl J and I'm going to tab into edit mode. So what I want to do is get some positions for the elevation. So I'm going to select the endpoint here, the end vert on both sides. I'm also going to select the window thickness here and where it begins. Okay, I'm also going to select the garage door, both sides, and the main door, and also the window here. And I'm just going to zoom in here and also this position here. And I think that might do for the moment. So with those selected, I'm going to press Shift D to make a copy, just right click, and I'm going to press P for the separate menu and choose selection. So now I'm going to tab back to object mode and just try and select that section we separated, which is just that straight line. So with that selected, I'm going to tab into edit mode and I'm going to connect these up. So I'm going to select the first two and press F, select the next two, press F, the next ones, and so on. And just basically create a straight line along this edge here. Some of these have a straight edge already, so I don't need to connect them again. So if I press A once or twice, I can see what's missing. So these two here need to be filled. And just in case I did double up, I'm going to press A once or twice, press W and remove any doubles. And you can see up here, we don't have any doubled up vertices. So I'm going to press 1 for front view. And what I'd like to do is extrude this up to the base of my window height, which in this case is going to be 520. So I'm going to press E and Z to restrict it to the Z axis and just type in 0.52 and press enter. And I'm going to extrude this up then the rest of the way to 2700 for the moment to incorporate the entire ground floor. Okay, so with that I'm going to press E, Z again to restrict it, and this time it's going to be 2.180 and press enter. And we can double check the height there with, if I select these two verts and get a segment, I can show that, and I have 2.7. Okay, I'm just going to X that dimension, just press A to deselect. I'm going to press Z now for solid shading, and you can see we have a couple of faces pointing in the wrong direction. You notice that by the shading. So I'm going to press A once or twice, select all the faces and press Ctrl N to recalculate the normals. Okay, and they're now fine. So if I just deselect them, I'm going to press Z and come back to wireframe. What I'd like to do is extrude this up again to the actual ceiling height. So I'm going to alt select this entire edge here, press E, press Z to restrict it, and press 2.7. Okay, and that is the full height including the roof. So what I might do is press Ctrl R and just insert an edge loop. And for this, I'm going to zoom in over here. I want this to be 300, so I'm going to get a segment. I can alt select this entire edge. I can just zoom out to make sure it's selected. Okay, I can press G, Z and just drag this up to 300. Okay, I'm also going to put an edge loop in here for the height of the doors and the windows. So I'm just going to press Ctrl R, add an edge loop. I can zoom in here, select the two vertices here, get a segment. I can alt select this edge here, press G, Z, and bring this down to 2.28 and left click. Okay, so I'm going to just press and hold the middle mouse button just to come around there. And what I'd like to do is just select the door openings for the moment. So I'm going to switch to face selection with Control Tab, select face. I'm going to select these faces here. So this is going to represent my garage door. So with this selected, I'm going to press P and choose separate by selection. I'm going to select the main doorway. With this selected, I'm going to press P and choose separate by selection. What we can do is set up the windows. So I'm going to select this face here, which is the first window. So with this one selected first, I'm going to press P, choose selection. I'm going to select these two and these two, press P and choose selection. Sometimes when you separate objects, the dimensions that were connected can become a little bit corrupted. So I'm going to delete those two. Okay, there's another size I want to put in here. So I'm going to press Ctrl R, add an edge loop up here. I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to switch to vertex selection. Select these two verts here. Get a segment. I'm going to Alt select this one here. Press G and Z and drag this up to 0.5. Left click. Okay, so I'm going to come back to object mode very quickly. And what I'm going to do actually is switch back on the first floor plan because I need to snap some of the top edges to these positions. So with this selected, I'm going to tab into edit mode. So the first one is going to be this wall here. So we need to bring this back over to here. So select this also, press GX and snap it to this first edge here. I'm also going to put in an edge loop here to represent this wall thickness. So Ctrl R. Okay, left click. Okay, what I might do is select these four here, press GX, and just straighten these up. Okay, I can alt select this entire edge, press GX and snap it over to that thickness there. And I can do the same thing over here, Ctrl R, add an edge loop. I'm just going to left click, press GX, snap it over to this edge here. Okay, I'm going to press Ctrl R again, add another one, just right click. And again, I'm going to come to the second position on that wall, so GX. Okay, so we have the wall thickness that you can see behind there. Okay, now the other thing I want to do, if I switch to face selection, this here is going to be a balcony area with an overhanging roof. But for the moment, what I'm going to do is select these faces and press delete. Okay, we're probably going to put a support in the corner somewhere. But for the moment, I'm just going to leave that as it is. I'm going to select this section here, which represent the window. As you can see, the length of the window is there. I can press P to separate these and choose selection. And I can do the same thing down here. So select these three faces. Actually, I'm going to switch to edge selection for a second. Select these edges. I need to come right the way up to this edge here. So GX and snap that up there. Okay, so if I switch back to face, I'm going to select these three faces. Press P and choose selection. Okay, so now if I come back to object mode and press 1, we have basically the outline of the house. There's a little bit more detail to add, but for the moment, that's going to do it for this one.